This is Josh Mandel with a quick lesson on automated ordering workflows for electronic health records, or as the case may be today, automating ordering workflows for cooking. Building on one of the examples I put together last week in the cooking domain, it's cold this week. It's a great time for soups and nothing like a good split pea soup. But goodness gracious, the challenge here would be ordering all of these ingredients one by one in some kind of online shopping cart environment. If only we could use ChatGPT to speed this up. So I've put together an example of a custom GPT here where I can submit a request like, I want to make this recipe at the New York Times website. I want to make it vegetarian and assume that I have all the pantry staples. And this custom GPT has access to two actions, two API calls that it can make. One is to fetch the list of ingredients as a JSON formatted response payload, given the URL of the recipe. And the other one is to interact with an online shopping cart that is running in my local browser. So in my window here, I've got a browser session that ChatGPT is going to be able to control by issuing API calls there. It's going to ask if I want to confirm that first. So let's take a look at what's happened so far. The recipe JSON was fetched from that first API call. We pulled out a list of the fresh ingredients that we're going to need. There's 6 of them here, and we're going to start ordering at the top of the list with the leaks. So I'm going to allow that to proceed, and it's got access to 2 calls that it can make in my browser. One is to search for an ingredient in the Whole Foods website and get back a list of results. And the second one is to pick a search result and add a certain quantity of that item to the cart. So that first API call for leaks, we got back 24 different items that matched that search in the Whole Foods website. But really only the first one is going to be relevant here. By the time we make it far down the list, we're talking about a lot of things that are not leaks. And the model is more than capable enough to read that and see that we're going to need 2 medium leaks. And that means ordering the first search result and getting quantity 2. So it's going to make a follow-up API call that's going to request 2 leaks. And we've successfully added 2 of that item to our cart. And the model is just going to proceed item by item and try to pick the best search result for each one as we go. So I'll hit pause and we'll see how it did in just a moment. All right, well, the model managed to get through the whole recipe list, although once it finished, it did say that there was some kind of error in generating. I've noticed that the interface for ChatGPT is more likely to cut off the longer it takes something to run. But in this case, we can see it's done a fair amount of common sense reasoning and mathematical reasoning to pick out, the best garlic option based on how much we need, to pick out the best onion. It's able to use some of my preferences, so I included in the prompt a preference for fresh and simple ingredients, and so it's using that to pick one bunch of organic carrots. So let's see how we did at the end of the day. We've got the recipe here, and we can look at our shopping cart over here and just compare them side by side. So for the recipe, we were going to skip all of the pantry staples, so we don't need paprika or olive oil, but we need a couple medium leeks, and we got that, 2 leeks. We need 4 garlic cloves, and we certainly got enough for 4 cloves. We needed 1 medium onion, which we've got. We needed 2 medium carrots, and I know we got a bunch of carrots here. We needed a pound of split peas, and we got that, exactly 1 pound. And we needed a couple thyme sprigs, and we got that as well. Looks like we skipped the chicken stock to make it vegetarian. Looks like we skipped the lemon wedges, but that was all part of the initial plan that the model put together right up front. So we got the 6 ingredients that we needed the most to make this recipe. And from my perspective, this is a really interesting demonstration of how with just a couple of API calls and the kind of common sense that you get from today's best models, you can really drive a pretty good ordering experience to meet some high-level goals.